Chapter 14. Somewhere between lunch and Runswick Bay, David must have filled his friend in on the events of the night before and on Fliss's plan for that night. Can you remember what the plan was? What did they all decide? What did that little group decide that they were going to do that evening after everyone had gone to bed? Just remind yourself where we left off with the last chapter. As he passed her seat on the coach, Gary bent down and whispered, "Okay, I'm in. Talk to you later." Clouds rolled in after tea, threatening rain. Teams' games on the beach were cancelled and everybody went to their rooms to write up the day's activity. Each child was keeping a sort of diary or log of the visit, in which points of interest were to be recorded. Fliss wrote for a while, then got up and looked out the window. The old woman was there, watching the hotel. Fliss resolved to ask Mrs. Wilkinson about her. She sat down again on her bunk, chewing the end of her pencil and reading through what she'd written. Tuesday, stays in Runswick Bay. Nothing happened on the coach. Looked at the scenery, stayed, old-fashioned and sort of dark with hills and cliffs all round. Mr. Hepworth told us about the headless ghost, but we didn't see it. We didn't see the captain's cook's shop either because it's under the sea. Crab pots everywhere. I had a nice dolly, and Mrs. Marriott took our photo. "How do you spell excitement?" asked Marie from her perch on the top bunk. "Why? What are you writing about?" "Mrs. Evans, I'm putting, there was a bit of excitement when we thought Mrs. Evans had fallen off the cliff, but she'd only fallen behind, which was really boring." "You're not." "I am." "I wouldn't be you then." "It's EXCITEMENT. Ta." Fliss knew she should write more, but she couldn't concentrate. If Lisa and the two boys were to watch with her tonight, they'd have to get together sometime this evening and sort out the details, like where they'd meet and what time. She listened. Beyond the door, everything seemed quiet. Nobody was on the landing or the stairs. She wondered what the teachers were doing. If they were busy, she and Lisa might be able to slip down to the next floor and have a quick meeting with the boys. It was strictly forbidden to visit other people's rooms, but they'd have to risk it. She put her book and pencil on the bed and went to the door. "Where are you going?" asked Maureen. "Toilet," she lied, opening the door and looking out. The landing was deserted. She slipped out, closed the door and knocked on the door of the room next door, room 11. "Who is it?" Samantha's voice. "Fliss, is Lisa there?" "Yeah, just a minute." Voices behind the door. Fliss glanced towards the cupboard. No number. Door 11 opened and Lisa looked out. "Come on," whispered Fliss. "Where? I'm halfway through my log." "Trot's room. Make plans. Quiet." "Okay." They tiptoed down the stairs, listening for teachers. There was nobody on the landing below. Doors 7 and 8 were closed. "Which is theirs?" hissed Lisa. 7. "Watch the stairs while I knock." Lisa watched and listened. Fliss knocked. "Who's there?" Sounded like Gary's voice. "Fliss, open up, quick." Footsteps approached the door. It opened a crack, an eye peering out. "Out on your own, are you?" "It's me and Lisa, hurry up." The door opened. Gary and David both came out. "Aren't we using your room?" Fliss asked. "Not a chance. Barry and Richard are in there. They know nothing about this. It'll have to be the bathroom." They slipped into the bathroom and Gary pushed the door catch into place. "We'll have to make it quick," he whispered. "Someone's bound to want the toilet before long. And anyway, I haven't started my log yet." They made their plans swiftly. they would go to bed at 9 as normal and wait in their rooms until their roommates fell asleep. That should be earlier than last night because they'd had a long, tiring walk. At 11:25 exactly, they'd get out of bed. They wouldn't dress for fear of waking somebody. They would leave their room and meet in the top floor bathroom, room 12, at 11:30. From there, they would be able to keep watch on the stair top, landing and cupboard. It would be impossible for anyone to reach the cupboard without being seen. And if anything odd happened to the door itself, like the number 13 magically started appearing on it, they'd see that too. This settled, the four split up and returned to their rooms. It wasn't until Fliss was lying in bed at 9:30, listening to Marie and the twins, that she realised nobody had thought about what they'd do if Ellie Mae did appear. She lay, worrying about this and looking at her watch every minute or two as her roommates chattered on. Oh, what would you do? What would you do if it was you? Would you brave it? Would you go out and sort of keep the watch like they're doing? Or would you just think it's just too scary, it's too frightening, or, it's not the right thing, we shouldn't be out of our beds, we shouldn't be doing that? What would you do if you were in that position in the story? How would you have reacted? So we will leave it there. You have got a couple of activities that I'd like you to do based on this. So your questions are attached in a file, so have a look at those. Don't forget that the page numbers won't link, guys, because you've got an online copy. So I've got the book, but I didn't have 75 of those, unfortunately, to bring round to you all. So you've got an online copy. So those question numbers and the page numbers aren't always going to link exactly, but you can still do that. You can still skim and scan back through and think, oh, whereabouts in the text did they talk about making their plan, if there was a question about that, or whereabouts in the text was Fliss reflecting on what they would do if they got to the top of the stairs and Ellie Mae did arrive. So you can work out where these things are in the text, even if you haven't got the page numbers to give you that extra little bit of direction. So good luck. Read the questions really carefully and answer, please, guys, in full sentences. So that means that you can pick out a little bit of the question and make that the start of your answer, but you do need to write them in full sentences. So none of your answers should begin with because. You need to explain those really clearly. And to get those higher level marks, guys, to really challenge yourself, you need to be thinking back to the text, going back to the text and looking for any evidence, any proof, anything in there that would back your answers up. Okay, so I shall leave you to do that. And don't forget to check back in towards the end of the day, about 3 o'clock. I'll come back and I'll put the answers to the question, to all the questions on there, and you can have a look. So not only to compare the answers that you've written, but also to look at the sentence structure as well, and to think about whether you've actually written yours in full sentences with the correct punctuation, of course. Okay, good luck, guys. I hope you're enjoying the story, and we shall find out what happens when they're up in the middle of the night and what they see, who they see, and what happens. Okay, see you later.